Okay, let's talk about the Warriors, who are 3-7. Their last loss to the Pelicans, they were not playing Steph, Draymond, Clay, or Wiggins, so we're not going to freak out about that one. And actually, while they lost to the Pelicans, if you were going to think they were going to get absolutely torched with the starters not playing, they actually played a pretty alright game. But even so, it's not been going great so far. I am mostly going to focus on the defense. We can touch on the offense a little bit, besides saying that Steph is really good. But just to say it, Steph has been great so far. When we're talking about their early season struggles, it's not because of him. So defensively, and really just the story of the team right now has been the starting five is great, and the second any substitution is made, even if most of the starters are still in there, it's getting rough pretty fast. And if you start really messing around with the rotations, then it gets pretty damn ugly. And yeah, there's been a lot of talk about James Wiseman so far, and I don't want to turn this into just a blame James Wiseman thing, but yeah, he's definitely had some rough defensive moments so far. One play against the Pistons where Boyan is on a drive with Wiseman dropping. He just kind of bites on this pump fake that wasn't even totally a pump fake, and it gets him out of position, so then it's an easy pass to Isaiah Stewart for a layup. Wiseman's also got the foul bug right now. I mean, one play against the Magic, he fouled Chuma Okeke after he missed out on a rebound against him, and then he threw the ball at the basket to get a technical foul. That wasn't good. He's picking up some behind the back fouls, going for rebounds that are rough. Not all of them are super egregious fouls. It's possible the refs are giving him a little too short of a whistle. I don't know, but it's rough right now for him. Poole has also not had his best moments defensively this season, and yeah, you can certainly find some clips of guys just beating him on some straight line drive dribbles, and it's like, well, I wish that went a little better for him. The least Poole can do right now is just stay disciplined and not make it easier on guys by biting on pump fakes or whatever. As for Draymond, well, to state the obvious, right now he is not the best defensive player in the league like he was at the beginning of last season before he had the injury. There's also been some weird miscommunications. The Hornets ran a double screen for Dennis Smith Jr. with Nick Richards and Jaden McDaniels, and Steph calls for a switch, I think, so he can pick up Jaden McDaniels, and then Kevon Looney or JaMychal Green, one of those two, can switch onto Dennis Smith Jr., because the Warriors are not scared of having Looney switched onto a perimeter player. And there's just a breakdown where the switch that Steph wants doesn't happen, so he's got to pick up Nick Richards on the roll, and it becomes a lob for him, and Steph is really mad after the play. Steve Kerr was as well. Against the Heat, there was one where Duncan Robinson did one of those elbow actions with Bam, and it was Draymond as well as, I want to say, Moody, both went out to Robinson super hard, and then it was a very easy roll to the basket for Bam. And I mean, sometimes you're going to have to do that when it's a great shooter, but the Warriors have always been the team to where, okay, if we're going to send two at a shooter around a screen, then everybody else is going to know that on the back line, and we're going to be prepared for it. Whereas it just seemed like the defense was like, wait a minute, that was the plan. One play against the Pistons where Jordan Poole and Jonathan Kuminga had a miscommunication where Diallo was in the dunker spot, and both of them believed that the other guy had him, and so they both went out to a wing shooter who was like a little open after a bit of a scramble on the initial play. So he got a dunk out of that one. It's just weird things that you don't typically see out of the Warriors. As far as Clay specifically, he hasn't been at his best defensively. There's times where, like in the Hornets game, where Gordon Hayward, like Clay initially does a good job on the screen, and then Hayward just kind of hits him with a spin move, goes around the free throw line, and then he just kind of gets clear of him for some like running hook shot thing. Lowry beat him on a switch late in the Heat game. That was one of the big shots there. Of course, within all that, you're going to have your plays where the defense is more solid. I mean, against the Magic, Paolo had some buckets, but a lot of them were kind of tough mid-rangers over Wiggins, especially one turnaround on the baseline. Like, you'll take that if you're the Warriors. So for what all that means, I don't know. As far as the other side of the floor, so the one quarter that was kind of wild was against the Heat, where Miami was using this zone, especially in the fourth quarter. And, some of it was like Steph missed a couple of Steph threes that we've seen him make a million times. But, Bam was also able to pull off a couple of crazy plays where he was able to basically, like, plant himself at the free throw line to where the Warriors couldn't just do whatever they wanted at the middle of the floor. But then he was also able to, like, close out to Clay on the three-point line or pick off this one pass where Clay was cutting and Draymond thought he had him perfectly, but Bam just kind of comes out of nowhere to steal the pass. The Warriors have not been getting to the rim as much as you'd really, really like them to, and I don't totally know what to do with that. They've had some moments, like against the Magic, Draymond had one of his signature fake handoffs with Steph where both guys go to him and then Draymond just kind of slips through the two defenders and then gets himself an easy dunk. Like, there's still some signs of it here and there, And with that said, I'm still not really concerned with the offense. Assuming that Clay is just going to make more of his shots that we've seen him make a million times in his career. Similar thing with Jordan Poole, although with Poole, the sample size is basically just last season, but we've seen the way he flows within their offense when everything's really clicking. And I assume Wiggins will continue to fit in pretty much perfectly at his spot for these guys. It's mainly about the defense right now for me. And so for that, number one, you got to get rid of these weird plays where there's clearly miscommunications when one guy thinks something, another guy thinks something else. And then as far as Wiseman, it's tough, man. I mean, you can try to put him in drop just for the sake of making it easy on him to where he doesn't have to fly around defensively as much. But if he's just going to foul like crazy, I don't know what you do. Draymond cannot fix all of their problems defensively. So yeah, that's about it.